Bruce.
Hello.
Grab a chairs.
Hey, Jen.
Hey, Victoria.
How's it going? I like your
Good.
shoes.
Oh, thanks. Hey. 326 Union. Hi.
Hello.
Did you get the new application?
Lord. We'll deal with
Okay.
That's one. That's fine, just good.
I did get the. Put it in.
Yeah.
I can remember that.
Thank you, no, I don't, then we might, I think we'll bring it back.
Need one more.
Saw her on the street walking her dog, so. I think maybe. Yeah. We might have to bring Phil back. Jeremy? Yeah. Yes. Sworn. Sworn and, you have.
We have it.
Great. Free,
You should have everything that you already signed.
we know where our commissioners are.
Your continuation. Yeah, he sent to me.
The solution, what do you think?
To do.
Yeah, it has to be like a document. One of the pieces.
But you have everything?
The,
I didn't realize that.
I sent
Okay.
everything I had to you and then Phil.
Okay.
But do you have it in your, in case we need it, can you resend it?
Okay, okay, I can
Can you
send that.
share it today?
Sure, yeah, I need to get access to Wi-Fi and stuff.
I don't know what's Wi-Fi.
There's a public one.
And,
You know the Wi-Fi? Yeah. You might need Wi-Fi.
If I need for them, I do.
And,
Yeah. It's the first one.
So you see a Randaberry Central Fire Station, something along.
That's fun.
No, I realized. We're gonna make an assumption of what maybe on it. That it was,
oh,
it's like a weird.
I gotta go. I know, I forgot.
Yes.
We,
John.
you, Miranda, Phil, Kim, John.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too many.
Yeah, exactly.
email.
For making some points.
Yeah.
I always.
I'll give you my numbers. Sorry.
In the meeting, this long,
And then
much of which you said, maybe if not all. You're not familiar.
I think everything's there.
Phil, I have no idea what's communications. You must have some.
You know, the third time.
No, that's what's happening. The meeting's called to order. It is.
Yeah. you can-
Now, great.
Thank
you.
Request permission from the township.
And the attorney, Polidoro, has shared with me that if you're not gonna be here, you have to request permission to Zoom the commissioners. But they all do. Basically, Victoria, I always get a text.
Yeah, I'm just,
You want something more formal?
we can just go over it. So the city has a video conference policy they adopted. So you can attend virtually, when there are quote, extraordinary circumstances, which has been defined to include disability, illness, caregiving responsibilities. Also vacation periods or periods where the member is not working from the residence in the city. So if you're traveling to work. But they do limit it to 4 meetings per year. Anything more than that needs permission from the common council
4 meetings per year per capita.
or the chair of the committee. Yeah. So I'll resend this video conference policy out to everyone. They adopted it last year, just so everyone can reacquaint themselves with it.
Am I the user?
Idiocy. You're not the common council.
No, but can I excuse the commissioner?
Or the
I'm
chair of
aware
the committee
of
board requesting permission. Yes, you can. There needs to be a paper trail.
Okay.
I don't know.
Oh, I'm glad we heard that. It's called to order. I said that before. Let's review the minutes from the prior meeting, March 24th.
Does everybody review the minutes?
Apparently they have.
Okay,
Approval.
great minutes.
Minutes are approved. Thanks so much. They're great.
To the point.
Okay. On the C of A votes, we were overly optimistic about 449 coming back with their plan for I don't know what we were over optimistic. It didn't belong there. We have one C of A vote, which is 716 Union Street. Victoria, can you share?
I'm not on the Zoom.
I can. It's the Union Street,
For
brewery sign. The signage, I don't have the picture of it unless it's on this app, but it was the, LED sign. That was the interesting new technology with it was the wash. Remember the black sign?
the actual whale.
The whale has not been.
It'll be here.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion to proceed there. Thanks, Miranda. Second. Anyone? You in favor? Approved. I'll get it stamped, signed and declared. Okay.
Okay. And then,
How do we want to do this? We have a C of A continuation and a bunch of new apps. In theory, we usually do the continuations ahead, but what's the story with that?
Well, Sarah's doing that side soon.
Okay, then let's go ahead.
They called me yesterday.
Yeah.
Regarding that whale at 410.
Mhm.
I'm not for a commercial. Well, they'll describe it, and there's nothing saying they can't have it, so.
Okay.
It becomes ultimately an order for the.
Hey, I got things to do, baby girl. I mean, people to meet, places to go. Reels to film. We have a kid.
Remember, it can always be worse wherever you live.
I mean.
That was just wrong.
Did I say something wrong?
Really, it was just wrong.
It's there, well, if you wanna do 410 right after, you still have that act, Jan should have.
Well,
Oh, really?
it's still overhanging the property line now. You can't approve that.
That and where we were unsure, I'm not sure what.
All right, let's see what's happening. Let's go with 442 sign then. Who's here to speak for 442?
That's
Sarah.
me. Matthew Signs. All right, just give me a minute so I can share.
I'll stop sharing.
Oh, I can't share my screen because somebody else is sharing. Unless you guys can share it for 442.
You're good now.
Okay. Okay. So this is for B&R Interiors. They're getting a 32-inch by 24-inch double-sided MDO wood sign. It's going to be painted white. And then it's also going to have black vinyl cut letters. They will also have a MDO wood panel underneath, which is 5 inches tall by 32 inches. That just says by appointment only.
These guys already have a sign permit. There's no code issue. We're just looking at the sign.
Right.
Questions, comments, or concerns? A motion to approve, a motion for the application complete. You, Miranda, all in favor, aye. A motion to request the city attorney to prepare a C of A. Anybody?
Sure.
Kim and Miranda, all in favor? Okay, approved. What else you got on signs?
So I think he just, Craig said about 410 Warren Street with the white whale. I don't currently have that accessible on my phone. But I had told him yesterday that when I applied for it, I put it under the white whale and it wasn't supposed to be under the white whale. That was my mistake. It's actually for Andy Drebick. He is the tenant there and he wants to put it up for himself, not for the white whale.
Okay, the issue we had was hanging over on the neighbor's property.
Okay.
And we had a suggestion that y'all needed to figure out a way not to do that.
Okay, because it's not associated with the white whale, is it possible to put it on the front then instead?
That's on Craig.
It's ultimately a banner or a sign, not for a business. So if I had to interpret the code, I would indicate that it's now an ornament.
Okay.
So ultimately, I would think it's part of an ornament that's being attached.
You know, I think we should be careful because this is a white whale for a business called White Whale, and the precedence we're gonna set is that every apartment above a storefront is now gonna be able to hang whatever they want by claiming it is not for the business. You just have your tenant apply. So
And either way, I still agree that it's still two signs or banners, however you want to label it, attached to the front of the building. It's a far stretch, but the bottom line is, at the end of the day, I think it's still a banner, it's still under the sign discretion, but since it's not for a business, it's really an ornament. But you're right, the similarity could be mistaken as it is for the business.
I can't hear anything.
does it violate code?
No, because if it's attached, if it hangs, then I gotta look at the size again. I was under the impression it was getting attached to the front of the building or the side of the building. Meaning that now, since the attachment's a wall sign, which is, they're allowed 1 linear foot for every 2 linear foot of that side of the building.
Here, my suggestion, guys, is that the applicant touch base with Craig, sort of, whatever the code or legal issues between Craig and Victoria, and come back with that. We're not ready to review it.
They need to submit the amended application where.
Please, yeah, we gotta see where it is, okay?
Okay, all right. How do I- okay.
That's the Conic engineer. Submitted that,
Yes.
right? That's somebody should.
to speak for 548, 550 fence?
Hi, Kylie from Taconic Engineering.
Kelly,
I couldn't hear you before, I'm sorry.
was this our system down or on your end?
No, you guys just sound quiet. That's all.
That's unusual. Okay, tell us about the fence.
I'm going to share my screen. So this was previously approved. The previously approved fence was brick and wood panels. This gate was in a separate approval. So it's going to be the same footprint. We're just switching from this brick and wood detail to, so sorry, let me show you the footprint here. It's going to be the same footprint all the way around the backyard. But now it's going to be all wood. So on
And
this side,
it was brick with a wood topper?
Yep.
Okay,
yep. So it'll be wood from the building to the garage with no lattice. On the rear, it'll be the 6 foot of wood with the 2 foot of the open lattice at the top. Same design and pattern as before. And then same thing along the alley on the other side.
I don't have a problem with it. I just have a curious question. Why is it 2 different elevations of fence type
2 different elevations? What do you mean?
without the lattice, with the lattice? It's just in the height change. Just a curious question.
Because it'll interfere with the eave on the garage. And also, I don't know, there's not really anything over here that they're trying to get extra privacy from. The neighboring property also has a fence that's pretty high over here.
And the height, I mean, it is the same for consistent for the elevation. The lattice is the only difference, right?
Yes. Yep, same material on the bottom, all the way around.
and any other questions or concerns? If not, may I have a motion to find the application complete? Hugh and Miranda, all in favor? Aye. Motion to waive a public hearing and request the city attorney to prepare a CV.
Yeah.
Kim and John. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Approved. 426 East Allen Street, offenses. Okay,
Do you want me to share the screen?
should we put that up, right? Yes.
Thanks.
We have an existing fence for the backyard that we're replacing because it's beginning to fall down. And then we want to add a small picket fence along the front of the front yard. And this shows sort of the scale and the length of that fence. This shows the fence and the gate as it is seen from the front of the house. And this is the next image, is a close-up of that gate and fence. That fence runs along just inside our property line, along between us and 430 East Allen Street. And then the next image shows along our 50th Street, the fence and gate, and then the next is the private driveway for the townhouses on East Court Street. So that fence is going to be replaced. It shows kind of how the backyard fence extends, how it runs down the property line for 30 East Allen, and how it extends back to the house. And we're not changing the location, we're just replacing the location. And then the next image shows down at the front yard, just inside the sidewalk, adding the small gate through the fence and then a picket fence that runs along the sidewalk in front of the Oxford Edge. And then we had just found 3 historic photos, as much as we could. The one on the top was provided to us from the previous owner of the fence that they had there, but we felt not to replace it with that historic fence. And then the center photograph is from probably the 60s. Didn't have a fence, but it just shows the house, and then an older photograph and a postcard that shows just kind of barely in front of the house. So that the only photos that we find. So the fence for the backyard is the one that we selected is the 2 fence cedar that's same on both sides. So it's neighbor friendly fence, and then this was the picket fence that we were selected for the front, the height being 3 feet. So the fence in the back is staying at 6 feet and 3 feet for the fence on the front.
Oh, good. Looks good.
Okay, motion to find the application complete, John, and you all in favor? Motion to waive the public hearing and ask the city attorney to see that, John and Kim. All in favor? Any opposed? Approved. 107 Union Street, railing.
Hello.
Hello. Take care, guys. Thank you.
Thanks.
Who's speaking?
I am Stephen Favreau.
Hi, Stephen.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Good morning, everyone. We're looking to add a 36-inch railing around the top of our garage that is on the alley. And the reason for that is that we have a deck that meets the garage, and we want to utilize the top of it to enjoy more space back there. And make sure that we're doing it safely. So we had an engineer come out, Chad Lindbergh came out. Hello, Chad, I think he's here. And we have this plan that I've presented to you through Craig this morning.
Can you zoom in a little bit?
Stephen, I'm sharing a screen here. Is this the page you want shared? Or?
Yeah, you should have 2 pages that illustrate what we want to do in the back. I think this might be the second one. There's also a line drawing.
Oh, is it page 4? Oh, yes.
Yeah. Is there glass between those panels?
I'm sorry?
What's between the poles?
Oh, you're looking at the photographs?
We're looking at the drawing right now. What are the materials?
Okay, that's why I was asking about that line drawing page. It details the materials. It's a standard steel post and rail with the steel cables stretched between them. There you go.
And the building is located where, approximate to the street?
It's 107 Union, and this is the garage that's on the back Cherry Alley.
Petition? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. You were close. No comments. You guys?
Can you see the photos again, please? Yeah. Just trying to understand what I'm looking at.
Sorry, just a second.
They sent like 7 pages. of this.
Can you enlarge that one right there, June?
Yeah, let me just. Yes, yes, okay, so it's not just the screen, it's, yeah.
It's low res.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's their suggestion.
So what you're looking at there, right on the right top corner, the gray building, that's the actual garage, and then brown planters above it were placed there as guards, and we had actually stopped them and told them they can't do that, they have to create a rail. So on the left of that is what the rail actually is going to be.
I got it.
And the material, so they're gonna put in a 36-inch high post with the cable guards that we'll call them, 4 inches apart from each post.
And it'll be white or black?
Black.
And the planters go away.
That's right. Everything that you see in those photographs would be gone.
Good.
So there's a staircase going up there and railings along the sides of the staircase and then also a railing around the edge of the garage, correct?
Correct.
I think I would ask for the application, if you could submit it in higher res, because what we have is, I can't read a lot of the text. And I think it's important to be able to read the text of your application.
Well, I'm happy to walk you through it.
That's what I'm looking at, is like, and that I can't read what I'm in then, like, is my copy just bad that I got?
It might be the digital part of it. I think we have it in our office.
You have it where it's
Hard
clear?
copy,
Okay,
and we could always photocopy it. There.
that's fine, I just wanted to make sure it was readable, since mine is not at all. Okay.
So the cables are, there's a railing at the top and then vertical cables in between the main horizontal. They're horizontal.
Are the cables black as well? As well?
They're more like a dark gray steel.
It's
It's
attached
air-
to the
it's
base of the
aircraft,
garage.
so steel cable in that. They're around town.
Good copy.
And it's-
I think we're pretty good. Keep a motion to find the application complete,
Yes.
and a second, please, Miranda. All in favor? Are there any opposed? Motion to waive the public hearing and request the city attorney to prepare a CFA. Anyone? Again? And you, all in favor? Any opposed? Approved. 60 South Front Street.
Great, so bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, so.
Sorry.
Hello, my name is Craig Hightower with Suncommon. We're proposing to construct a 105 kilowatt solar array at 60 Front Street, 60 South Front Street, consisting of 260 solar modules that are black and anti-reflective in nature, 3 Chint 25 kilowatt inverters. That'll be a flush mounted to the roof solar array using clamps. And yeah, I'm not sure what else you guys want to know or what I can show. Actually, here, let me share my screen. I'll pull up the site plan.
Do you want to share your screen now? Okay.
Doing it now.
Right. Thank you.
You guys should see the site plan, right?
Mhm.
The inverters will be placed on a stanchion near the utility meter over here. Here's the utility meter near the street, so it'll be within 10 feet. The inverter location, the disconnect, and the combiner will all be within 10 feet of the utility pole. We'll trench underground back to the building. We'll interconnect into the electrical room. Arrays on both sides of the roof.
Is there a rendering of what these will look like from the street?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Is there a rendering of what these panels will look like from the street, right? This is the barn that's being reconstructed?
Correct. I don't have a rendering that would show what I think you're asking for, not with me. I think were some photographs sent of the same module mounted on a roof. But nothing that would show like exactly for this building, no.
So those panels are in different colors, right? Is there a reason for them being different color?
These would be a black module.
But you have them different color in the illustration, so some look gray and some look sort of ochre, rusty. Are we led to believe that there's different types going there, or?
No, that's just, this was drawn over an existing.
Oh, it's
image.
drawn over an existing drawing. Okay, my apologies.
So this area here is, I believe, skylight, so there wouldn't be modules installed here or here. I think you're seeing some of the shadow of this tree. So no, this is just an outline of where the modules would be.
I have a question. Is this the Tesla roof that looks like shingles?
No, this would not be.
It's not like that.
Just
Okay.
regular panels.
Okay.
What's the lift off the roof to get a correct angle, or is that not an issue?
It'll match the angle of the roof, so it won't be lifted above it. It'll be a low profile flush mount. I believe they're 2 inches or 1.5 inches off the roof, clamped to the metal seam. But it would.
They're primarily located on the east side of the building.
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
They're on the back side on the building, or do they cover the entire roof?
Both sides. Here's an image without, or a drawing without the actual satellite imagery. But yeah, this is the eastern facing side that has 4 rows. And then on the western facing side would be another 2 on that side of the ridge.
I understand. What we're trying to get at is we've approved solar panels many times, and for a lot of reasons, it's obviously a good thing in a bunch of ways. On the other hand, we're trying to understand what the visual is from street. And if we're doing our best to mitigate the impact of that on what you all went to great trouble to preserve in that barn structure. I'd love to see something that gave us a visual from the street.
Is there a current picture of the building from the street so we can gauge how much roof is exposed?
No, I'm sure there is, but not that I have packaged up for this. Kind of landed in my lap about 4 p.m. yesterday, so I didn't have a whole lot of time to put everything together. I'm sure I can get one put together, but I don't have one at this moment.
In the package I emailed, there is one in there.
Okay.
Next page.
Okay.
I mean, I think the commission has been historically friendly to solar panels.
Over and over again, it's legitimate to understand what, for all the good we're doing anything bad at the same time. At the end of the day, we end up approving the solar, but the street view is going to be helpful.
Yeah, and I would want to just make sure that they're not reflective of being such a big plane, that's huge for the neighbor. If you're looking towards the water that way, that they're not going to reflect back. I think typically they do not, but.
Yeah, no, they're not, and that's FAA requirement also that solar modules are built with anti-glare materials. So they're also these particular modules are black. So they don't have any white coloring in them whatsoever, but they are absolutely anti-reflective.
Yeah.
This was the one that I emailed that was difficult to open.
Yes, I have, so there were 7 or 8 documents, 9 documents.
I mean, this is the building.
Here, this one's yours. And that around. You can just hand it around.
That's pre-renovation. That's the same.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It's a different roof now, but
It's a different roof, but it's relatively low building, so it's visible. Okay. That kind of was the question.
I mean, I have,
This is the West.
Craig, I have.
yes.
Yeah. I think that's before the exploration.
I'm still, I
Not
don't
there.
have the caboose.
The relationships aren't changing. I think you answered.
No.
Yeah,
This is the picture.
The pitch of the roof is still the same.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a metal.
Yeah.
If there are not other questions, a motion to find the application complete. Anyone?
I do.
You, and a second, please.
We don't think. That.
Well, is it complete without that rendering?
I think so. I mean, I think we understand that this is going to follow the shape of the existing roof. And it will be visible. We asked about glare, which was asked and answered. I don't know what else is gonna change.
It'll be apparent to everyone that the roof is covered with solar panels.
Right.
It's not gonna be concealed in any way, so
There's
that's.
no way to
gives a
conceal it,
modern look to
given the relationship there.
buildings.
If it's helpful, there is, a page of what they look like. That- Sorry. So the first one,
It won't that be flat.
all right, guys,
This aren't.
this one? Well, no, I mean, there's a photo of them on other buildings.
I think I know which one you guys are talking about.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's the.
This,
it's
this
the-
image here,
Yes. And there were some other buildings, where there were multiple panels, installed on a roof.
I think there was one other one that had like two that were in landscape. This one would represent more of a look you would see from the road. These are in a portrait installation, so they're not laid over on their side, which we would do at 60 South Front Street as well. So this would give you a better reflection of what they would look like from the street view.
But in your case, the panels, as I understood it, are pretty close edge to edge with the existing roof structure.
Correct.
They're not positioned as a rectangle in the middle of the thing.
I'm not following what you're asking.
We're looking at a rectangle. This is, as I was understanding your rendering, the panels cover virtually the entire roof.
Correct. Yeah. On that one, it will. This one obviously has some gaps because of the triangular shape of the roof, but yeah, ours would pretty much, it would follow the building code with the, 6-inch setbacks on the sides. And from the ridge, for the most part.
Fire department, usually they have side setback as well, right, from the roof, so there will be a gap around.
I understood there'll be an edge around.
Yeah.
Miranda said it, I think, most eloquently. It will look from the street like a building with solar panels.
Yeah, they're gonna be there.
Which we have approved.
Which we approve many, look, these guys went to enormous lengths to make this environmentally structure, and it's part of the solution. I have a motion to find the application complete. Miranda, second, you, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion to waive a public hearing and ask the city attorney to receive a. Anybody? John, thank you very much. Kim, I'll take it. Thank you. All in favor? Done. So as I failed to say in the last previous 4 applications, you get where are we going with this? In 2 weeks, we'll have a C of A from the city attorney. We vote on it at the next meeting, and then you'll be able to get that C of A from Greg. So you got 2 weeks for preparation of this, of the certificate and voting on the certificate, but for now, you're going forward.
Okay, and then will that be sent to us, or will there be an email or anything coming out with those instructions?
Stamp and sign it, I get it to Craig. We post the signed CVAs on the city website as well.
Got it.
So there's not too much drama about that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
502 Union Street, safety railing.
Hi, it's Kylie from Taconic again.
Hi.
Let me share my screen. This is another one that we're asking for an amendment to a previously approved application. You can see the plan.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So the previously approved railing was where the red line is in here. They're proposing that they move it to the outside where the parapet is, so that there's more coverage around the perimeter of the roof. I guess there was concerns about people trekking into the green roof and then potentially falling over the side of the roof. So this was the previously approved rendering. As you can see, there's no railing on the parapet here, and you can see the green roof vegetation. This would be the new railing. So it sits right on the inside of the parapet.
What is the railing?
It's the same as it was before. It's just the metal rail, and then it's got the horizontal cables in between.
What's changed? I'm sorry.
Just the location of the railing on the roof. So originally it was set on the inside of the green roof. Now we're moving it to the outside of the green roof, and it's attached to the parapet. So this detail here.
To the edge of the roof.
That's it? That's the only change is location?
Yep, so same material, same height. It's just moving from the inside to the outside, so there's further coverage around the entire roof deck.
I think we're good. Motion to find the application complete, you and Miranda. All in favor, aye, and none opposed. Motion to waive the public hearing, request the city attorney to do today. And Kim and John, all in favor, any opposed, approved. Same thing as I tried to say before, 2 weeks. We vote on the certificate, and you should get that from Craig. We vote in our next meeting. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
354 Allen.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. I'm Light Sebesta, and I'm presenting for the owner, Nicole Cherubini. A proposed exterior renovation and the removal of a porch and deck stairs from the upper story and the reconstruction of a mudroom, all on the alley side. Do you want me to show you contemporary photographs first?
If you could start with photos and we get a sense of location and neighborhood, that would be a great way to begin.
Okay, wonderful. So here are the photographs from the front side of the house. It's on Allen Street between 3rd and 4th. The front facade of the house would remain untouched, with the exception of the replacement of the windows, which are in need of repair. Additional photograph of the side porch would be re-supported in the foundation, but nothing on the exterior will be touched. The western facade, again, just repair to existing and replacement of windows. And the back or alley side is the area of the most intervention, As you can see, there's a second story porch access that dates probably from the 70s, when the building was used as for 30 years as an adoption agency, and there was a business located on the top floor, a separate business located on the top floor. This is actually pulling on the side addition, which I'll show in this image. As you can see, this is what was probably a porch that was enclosed and then built up in the 19th century. And that will remain, but this bump out that was added in the later part of the 20th century is contributing to structural problems that are happening in this section of the house. And the intention is to remove this and to, which by code would also be helpful, to replace the siding because it's improperly insulated and the wood is in poor condition, with materials to match, to repair the two sections of brick, but particularly this section, which you can see some attempts to hold the brick in place have been made with these steel rod and plate systems, but it needs to be, this whole section needs to be removed and then replaced and repointed and repainted. Here is another image of this bump out, visible from the alley only. Does that make sense?
Do you have a sense of the timeline or trajectory on this house? Just for our information, the structure you're calling bump out, I assume was an add-on?
Yeah, I'm calling this the bump out here. And that's the add-on that we believe dates from probably the 70s, when it was, or 80s, when it was used as a quasi-commercial property.
Got it, thank you. That was the question.
Okay, may I show you the elevations and drawings of what we're proposing? Or do you have further questions on the photographs?
No, go ahead with the elevation.
Great. Sorry. Here they are. So let me zoom in. The existing elevations, this would remain as is with just a replacement of windows with a matching light pattern. The same would be true of this facade, save this mudroom, which currently has a side entry and was likely built on at the beginning of the 20th century. It also has some foundation issues. This is the existing mudroom configuration, and this is what I'm calling the bump out with the exterior deck.
So when you mentioned replacing windows, you're replacing windows throughout the entire building, or?
Yes.
Great, and then when you said that you're going to match the existing lights, it's not just the mullions and the mountains in it, they will appear as they are now, they will just be modern windows?
They will be wood. They will be wooden windows that will appear historically accurate, but simply in possession of actual insulating qualities.
Yeah, the UL ratings and whatnot to make Craig happy. Great, yeah, because that's of course very important to us, is that it is, you know, replace like for like, of course.
Yes,
So
sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing you. Let me just.
Those windows are, I can't tell from this distance, they're 2/2?
No, they're 6/6. So there is a portion of the house that is 6/6, and there's a portion of a house that is single hung. And they'll be replaced to match existing.
So what?
Replaced to match existing?
I understand. So if it's single, just for confirmation, if it's
Mhm.
if it's 1/1, it'll be 1/1. And if it's
Mhm.
6/6.
Exactly.
And when you say they're replacement, are they replacement windows to Kim's point? Are they full windows that you're going to install there?
Correct.
So you're not modifying the opening to accommodate replacement windows, quote unquote,
No,
same opening.
same,
Yeah.
same opening, same size opening, same light pattern. Wooden, painted to match, just simply, there are long-term significant heating and cooling issues in the house as a result of basically having windows that are not functional. So it's an opportunity to upgrade but to maintain historical correctness.
Are the existing windows original?
I beg your pardon?
I was asking if your existing windows were original to the house.
I believe some may be, the ones on the front facade may be original to the house, but the rest were replaced over time and probably somewhere in the 20th century.
That's kind of interesting because the double hung, the 1/1s, you have the opportunity and have them be 6/6s, is that?
If the originals are 6/6.
Exactly, yes.
So my question is, what is the condition of those? I mean, I think we need to evaluate them separately, right? So if there's original windows,
Mhm.
have you considered, I understand, we very much understand the importance of the environmental impact to the house of having new windows, it's great. But
Sure.
there's other things to do. So have you evaluated the condition of those original windows to determine if it's an option for repair?
Yes.
I could jump in right
Okay.
now. I'm sorry. I just wanted to talk about when we first did the work on the house, we repaired each pane. And it is this is Nicole Cherubini, I'm the owner. It's a very hard thing for me to think about losing these gorgeous windows. And I agree with you that if we could save them, we would. We have done extraordinary measures to try to keep them, and heating the house is incredibly hard. And this was not an easy decision to come by.
Have you considered storms for the front? There are many excellent storms that can go over these windows and give you a better heating opportunity in the winter.
We have touched upon that idea. Lythe can speak a little bit more to this as well, but that was one of the first original ideas that we came up with, was just the 5 facade windows, to do storms for those windows and then have the rest of the house be operational. Which we could reconsider as well. But then it just seemed like it would get more, there would be more information with that happening. But I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
I think that, could help you preserve some character to your house and could help us as a community feel that we're protecting the streetscape appropriately. So that sounds really exciting to me. Could you talk more about that? Like what?
I would believe that if that was the choice, it would be the 5 front windows in the main facade of the house, so that the rest of the house we could open windows 365 days a year. So there would still be some difference on the front of the house. But I'm happy to consider that because, as I said, I think the windows are beautiful. I just need to be living in a house that is heated, it's cools, and that we can use it.
I mean, in our experience, and there's a lot of expertise on this, any window can be made to function. So I guess you shouldn't have to live with fixed panes on the front of your house if you don't want to. That's just a thought. I guess my remaining inquiry is look at the upper left facade, which of those windows are original? There's those 5 on the very front facade, but then I see 3 other 6/6s. Are those also original?
I do not believe so. I think they were replaced.
And there's a 12/12 on the right, above that door.
Is that
Is
what's,
it 12 or 9?
do we have a photo?
You know what, to be honest, that's actually a corrected mistake. The engineers did drawings and they did not correct that. They're all 6/6s or 1/1s. So that's a mistake. I apologize.
Themselves?
I beg your pardon?
Are there photographs of, like, do we have existing condition photographs of the house? Like, can we see
Yes,
those
we did.
windows?
I showed you, I will go back to that if you like. Here we go. So. As you can see, this is not an original window. But the facade of the house, which I show here, you can see these are.
And as John mentioned, there are a lot of different kinds of storm windows. I'm sure you're aware of them, including ones that are single pane that are an
Push
awning
out,
style that you can open. There's a good example of that on South Fifth Street.
And on Union, isn't there a good house on Union that has those as well?
Yeah, the house next to mine doesn't use the, but
Oh, they don't.
John on South Fifth, just around the corner.
Was that clear what the commissioners were saying, that on the storm window, single pane, many are available with a hinge and
Yes,
push
I do.
out.
Yep.
So that air is no issue, and you get to keep your old windows.
And you'd lose those triple tracks that
Yeah.
obscure the windows. It would really be beautiful.
What if, I'm sorry, so what about, there's a bump out on the left. That is, those are original or not original?
It's in the photo.
Sorry, I'm going to pull back the facade. So this, the presumption is from the information that we have that the original, that the brick portion of the house was built in two fairly quick successions because it's so somewhere in the early 19th century. So this front section was built, and then this back kind of wraparound section, which you can see here, which is all brick. So this section here was built probably within, a 30-year time difference. The additions were easier to see from this angle. This was originally a porch on a lower floor that they enclosed and built up, including the second story. So this is now, for example, a bathroom, one of the significant bathrooms on the second floor. And then this bump out was added, again, likely when it was a quasi business during the latter part of the 20th century, and is just really honestly egress from the second floor, which no longer is necessary by code. It's a residence.
The question was about the windows though, on the first picture on the left-hand side.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm sorry. So you're asking about this portion here.
No, from the facade.
The front.
The front facade?
Yep.
There we go.
So that's the first bump out. And those are not, those are original or not original?
Those
They're
are not.
Yeah.
They're not.
No. Mm-mm.
Okay, so then,
Let me ask my question. Which of the windows in the house are original to the period that you're describing, right? The 6/6 style wood. And it sounds like some you've restored and some you haven't. Those 5 we know.
Yeah. Let's go back to this image, not those, this side, no. These, no, they're not the materials of them are not. The only ones that we're, to our knowledge, are original, meaning dating to the time of the building of the house, are the ones on the front facade. And the rest of them were replaced higgledy-piggledy over time.
Right, the front facade is 2 planes. The 5 on the foremost plane, And then there's some setback. Are those also original?
Right, those two, you have your added on.
Oh, no. Those have been replaced.
Mm-hmm.
So the only original windows are the 5 windows in the front.
Which have been somewhat restored, and you could restore them more fully.
Right, and it sounds like Nicole is in agreement that that is a agreeable solution that would satisfy both her and your concerns.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you or the homeowner that is accurate, that those are the 5 only original windows now, as far as you know.
As far as I know.
Yes, as far as I know, yes.
And what about the eyebrow windows?
Those are new. Those eyebrow windows are the ones on the top, correct?
Yes.
When we bought the house, those were actually plywood, and we replaced them with just plain white framed windows to match the rest of the house. I believe that was through the I know that was through the Historic Commission at the time.
So if we were to go forward a little bit differently, just focusing on the 5 original windows you've identified,
Mhm.
would the thought be that you would do additional work on those windows? You obviously have done work on those windows. They don't, well, at least from here, they look okay, but I can't see either. Would you do additional work on that, or would you consider our suggestion of single pane wooden storms with a relatively narrow frame and a hinge or other option to swing out for vent?
Yes, I would totally consider that for the 5 front windows. And then I would really appreciate being able to change the other windows so that they're not rattling all night and losing heat incredibly. Yeah. I would actually prefer that choice, to be honest. So I do love those windows.
Option, and you're doing such a stunning house, and you're doing a great project on it, and that's, I'm being quite honest, that's why we're so attuned to it. Those, but there's none of the others that show a 6/6 are original, other than those 5 in the front.
Not to our knowledge.
Are they wood?
Yes, but they appear to be, they're different. They're of a different, they're thicker and more clumsily made than the original windows that are on the facade, which is why.
They don't have the beautiful glass.
They don't have what?
The beautiful glass.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you've got wavy glass and narrow mountains and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
I totally understand that. Commissioners, what do you think? I want to move along. Should we ask these folks to come back with a proposal for those 5 windows with the storms? Or make it, I
I
don't
think
know.
we need them to come back,
Huh?
and I'd love to see more photographs of all the windows. The 6, that's all, like closer.
So, say it again, John.
My recommendation is that you come back with what specifically you're gonna do with the front 5.
Yeah.
That we also get some close-up photographs of any other wood windows that are still in the house.
That would be great. Are
Okay,
you guys
thank
good with-
I bring up the point of sort of the most pending and time sensitive thing we're here for is the back porch that's hanging off the house. We would love to get a demo permit for that because it actually is causing structural damage to the rest of the house. And we've been working with engineers for over a year to try to figure out what this, how we can fix the corner of this house. And so this is one of the issues. And if we could get this down, it would sort of release the house of a lot of tension. And then we can come back to discuss the windows and all the rest of the issues.
So let's go back to the demo one more time and just exactly what's coming down and what's going up.
Okay, so that top corner to the left is coming down. Okay, thank you.
So this is the existing, these are the existing conditions that I went over before, and the new conditions would be the removal of that bump out, which I'm sorry, you can see here. Let me move this slightly. It would be essentially removing the porch from this section here and allowing for allowing for this section to be reclad in wood to match existing, and to reroute and rebuild the mudroom with a more operable stair and access, showing a small image of the new mudroom, which has a roof profile to match the frieze at the top here.
Do we have specs and materials in your pack on any of the new material going on?
Yep, it says essentially here, it's cedar stairs with wood stair rail. It's new pine wood clapboard to match and painted to match existing.
So you're not introducing quote unquote new materials that are not on the house?
Nope.
And
No.
all the materials you described are wood?
I beg your pardon?
Everything
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
described, the siding, stairs and stair rail are wood?
Correct.
Thank you.
And then you're talking also about replacing all the windows that we see here with new windows with similar lights, wood windows. right?
Correct. Yes.
We can do that in a separate meeting or a separate application. I think the applicant said that they would be agreeable moving forward simply with the bump out and the resolution of that in the stairs. And we could come back and address the windows in totality if we want, Brenda.
Sounds good.
Our end.
So it's the demolition and the rebuilding of the mudroom. No?
Yeah.
Correct. Demolition of the porch and stairs. Right.
Hang on a sec, folks. The application is for the renovation of removing, rebuilding, adding and changing windows. So you can't give a C of A on this application unless you modify it to be specific to what you're approving. We do not have a detailed drawing of the construction for the add-on. We only have it for removing. So for code purposes, I need a detailed design of how we're gonna build this add-on back. We don't have that. We don't have any detail at all.
You're talking about the mudroom.
The mudroom to get put back on.
Like, isn't there also an addition where you're getting rid of the second floor thing, you're building something back there, that's 2 stories, right?
No, the bump out with the porch from with the stair from above is simply just being removed entirely.
So for the
And-
purpose of this, just move the demolition and.
We don't know what's going on.
We're not talking about it, we're just taking it off, they can't do anything after that.
Greg?
Yeah, if that's what they wanna do, the only thing you can do is approve, because the way the code is written, you cannot do anything without approval of the CBA. So they would have to have a CBA to remove what they're requesting. That's it.
Relieving pressure on the house that we're talking about.
So they can't rebuild anything.
So they.
Okay, is that clear where we're heading? We're saying that we could probably grant you a C of A on the demo, and that's it. You'd have to come back with more specs on what's going on.
That would be wonderful.
So would that be considered to be a new application to be submitted next month? A revised new application, or would it be?
We'll figure out a way to move you along. We have a category of continuation of discussion. Usually the second meeting of the month is just C of A votes. But if somebody has already presented and you're coming back in response to a request from the HPC, we can pitch in 2 weeks.
Okay, thank you so much for that. I appreciate it.
I just want to reiterate this one thing for clarity, because I'm looking at your drawings and then I pray I can read architectural drawings as an architect. But I'm looking at your existing and your proposed, and when I look at the proposed southeast elevation, where you show the demo of the second floor porch and the stairs, fine. And then I'm looking at the proposed, which shows 2 new windows. That looks to me like it's a new build out. Am I just reading it wrong, which is totally?
Here's
off.
what's tricky about it. It's that there are, these are all set, they're all stacked and set back slightly. So if you look, basically, if you're looking at this facade, because I understand why that feels funny. When you're looking at this facade, you're actually looking at, this is you're seeing this, it's actually this, if that makes sense. And this, the wooden section is this. So this is actually the original brick section, which right now is obscured by that bump out, which comes from up here and goes down there.
Okay, I think
Does
it's
that
just
make
continuing it rate-wise, but I follow, it's beyond, and that's why I misunderstood. So thank you for clarifying that.
Absolutely. Okay, so
If you're good, we're gonna propose that in this meeting, the commission is going to approve, the demo and nothing but the demo. And you're gonna come back with whatever other stuff you want to do in more detail next meeting.
And
Sounds
we've
good.
also collected photographs of the window.
Absolutely. Try to get a sense of some of the other windows and how that relates to the windows in front.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep, sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well, we got to vote a bit.
Oh.
And
Okay.
guys, any further
Are we
discussion?
setting it up? We're not setting the applications complete. We're just voting on the demolition.
We're voting on preparing a certificate of appropriateness for the demo
Only.
only.
Quick question though, mainly for Victoria, because the application that was submitted is for everything. So if you're ready to C of A for this application, you're gonna have to eliminate everything that's in there other than the demo.
Yeah,
I can move forward with the approval of the demo based on the minutes.
That's okay, I can,
That way we don't have to redo the application or however you want to do
I can write a C of A saying that it's for the demo only and that the board has not yet approved the other
it. So
piece.
that won't be available until 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you mean you want?
Oh, is there Pastor White?
Well, if they wanted to move forward to get that pressure off, like I say, I can approve it based on the minutes of this board.
Emergency, you can always-
If it was an emergency, I would have had them do it before this, but that's my whole point, that that's time of the essence, maybe not.
That seems a kinder solution. We're asking these guys to come back with everything else. If they can go ahead with the demo. I think it's a game changer for them.
But won't everyone want to just use the minutes then?
Yes and no, it's a good point, but that's totally up to you. And the only reason I'm saying it is because they submitted their application for everything.
Yeah,
If the application would have said strictly demo, then we wouldn't have this conversation. It would be a C of A for demo. So that's up to you, however you want to do it. Don't matter to me.
I mean, in the past, we've done these partial ones where the applicant has a return, but you know, if you want to go ahead and issue the permit based on the board's vote, that.
We'll
and
still get to see.
structural
But we
issues.
still have to vote on it.
Yeah, we do.
On the demolition
We do.
portion.
Okay.
So let's take a motion on that. Motion to, for going forward with the demo and the demo only. Miranda, Hugh, all in favor? Done. And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Okay,
Thank
great,
you
thank
so
you.
much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Bye.
721 Columbia Street.
Yep. Hi. Good start, Brad.
Yeah, my name is Jeremy.
Hi.
We're renting 721 Columbia, with the owner's permission and the signature on the application. We'd like to replace our footprint. These are the most updated pictures because the one we submitted has the paint covering the whole storefront, but we actually just want to paint the mill. And this is a sample of the color that we chose. So then and on the fourth page is the proposed, and the sixth page is the existing. And there's some colored existing photos. That's the.
In our research through the building's history, from what we can determine, this was the building. In its I mean, like, it's not obviously the original, that's not the original, but it was always just a one-story little.
Yeah, because
storefront there.
on Zillow, it's the only time you could find the date of the building, which was 1959. But there is evidence, when you look in the library of, there being a one-story building, in 1850.
You have that picture? Was it?
Yeah, it's in the packet, we don't have it.
It's in the new packet.
Got it.
It's not a great.
It's not a great image, no. Yes, the building is completely white, we think it's just one story,
It's know that the cornice and the above that almost looks like it's brick, it's not actually brick, that's what the difference. We actually just want to restore that and strip the paint off and.
Yeah, just make it what it was, so that's it. Then the stucco around the wood sort of.
Is this what you're talking about, this area? Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like a brick, but it's actually, I guess it's the cracked metal that. Had to the shape of. Brick.
I'm sorry, I'm just, what are the original materials on the front? You're saying you're keeping all the original materials?
Yeah, we're keeping all the original materials besides adding the storefront of the wood builder.
Where the windows are, we're putting in millwork, and new windows. I don't think at all that these windows are, historical.
No, they're very low quality.
And I think what we're interested in is like, is that what are the openings original, right? So you're just reducing the opening.
We are.
You are just the openings.
Oh, no, actually, we're bringing this higher. And this.
Can I ask a more basic question, or is this part of the building next to it, or is this a standalone building?
It's actually not really a building at all.
Yeah.
I think it was
Just a thing they put in
I
there.
think they put it in an empty lot. It is, the owner owns all of this. and
The owner owns both buildings, so like, and I guess when he bought it, it is. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that it was one building or just,
And in the buildings list, which you have there from the historic, right after historic, it says it's a one-story brick commercial building with plate glass windows attached to the rear store on Park Place. So it's a separate building but attached to it.
This particular property is the corner building on Park Place in Columbia. It's 3 different parcels, but all attached, very popular. So it's a standalone parcel, but it's an attached row building.
Very Hudson.
Exactly.
Hudson moment here. And is your proposal to paint the stucco?
no,
Well, actually, we would like to repaint it, but not, like a mid-tone plain color, not the green that you see there. We probably, because we will be re-stuccoing, because it's gonna be, the actual hole will be different. So there will be some re-stucco and we'll have to paint it so that it looks more, but it won't be, it'll be like a mid-tone plain sort of cement color.
that's similar to that, to the color, it's new.
You couldn't make the design fit within the existing opening, like what's the height you wanted to paint it?
It's taking down the low bearing wall and it kind of helps to, because of that. One of the things to change, I mean, we can.
I mean,
Yeah, I guess
the
it
reason
would.
why I'm asking is because it does feel like it's part of the adjacent building, and there is like a datum line that you see that stretches across it. I'm looking at that, and so that's why I'm bringing up the question.
Oh, yeah, I mean, this is, right, so in this, it does cut off here, and we show this is painted, but none of this stuff is gonna be painted, actually.
What about the windows? Sorry.
Yeah.
What about the windows? It doesn't, it's, this is built, if we approve this, it's very much gonna read as a separate building.
Yeah.
Instead of as part of that building now.
Right,
Because the window height will be different, the treatment of the plate glass windows will be different.
right,
Is that the end of the world? No, it looks like a vast improvement aesthetically.
Yeah.
I think it's something to consider.
Do you think it reads as? I think it reads as a separate building, even if it's attached.
So
I walk by it every day and I never thought it was a separate building until this minute, but yeah. No, but it is, right? But it doesn't particularly bother me.
But
Just
also,
when you walk down that block though, I mean, even the next door front, you can see over, I mean, it's not. It's different shaped and different.
No, it's okay, it's not different from the one on the right.
Yeah.
but John, also, if you look at the photograph in the packet, that the building that is to the left of this one in the photograph, it also has, it has the bay window and the embossed wooden trim underneath the window, which.
I don't think anyone thinks of the building on the left as part of, that there's a part of that building.
No, but what I'm suggesting is that this treatment that has a wooden lower part of the window fits well with the building on the other side.
My question wasn't so much, like, I like the Miller, I think it's really beautiful, whoever designed it, it's just about the actual opening. That
Yes,
I'm pointing out more of that height of it, because I think that is a nice data line to see how it continues to the other building, and I do understand it's not related to the building on the left, but they don't read as being similar at all.
Are you talking about where the door is?
No. In the photograph?
The windows.
So no, not even, so you see how you have a header in the photograph? If you look at the photograph, not at your rendering, the photograph below, yeah. So you see a natural horizontal line of your top that then continues to the adjacent building on the right top. And there is a language to that, I think, and you see it in the, I can't think of words, the cornice, right, as well. So I'm just asking if there was an opportunity to make it the same height, that might be nice.
Got a choice to make the windows a little bit taller.
How much taller do you think it is?
So actually here,
I'll give you
We have veterans,
yeah, so,
but I don't know if we have original measurements. to tell you the
Yeah,
exact
that's
kind of
what
original.
so. The is 12 inches, 12 and 3/4 inch, 12 inches and 3/4. So it's probably about 5 inches. So,
I mean,
4 or 5 inches.
I don't know if there's something to stake a flag in the ground about, it was just an observation more so to create conversation.
The existing window frames right now are metal.
They're,
There's metal.
I guess,
Yeah.
yeah, aluminum maybe.
Okay,
I would say they are in metal, they're very
It's a
strong
metal.
metal.
all right. And you're going to all wood frames, trim,
Yes.
single pane glass,
All I know is that it's gonna be tempered.
okay?
Yeah, and something that's.
Reading across horizontally, where there still be 3 or 4 different panes,
There'll be 4.
okay? Cool.
Yeah.
Does anybody care enormously that that the roof, the window line is no longer gonna be consistent? It's not, I don't think I care, it's not,
I
it
think that
doesn't.
it's a separate building, it's a better design, we're in keeping with 1850 than 1959.
Significantly better.
It is, yeah.
The architecture has changed, so you don't even relate them.
Right. And that building next door is gonna be, is slated to be redone.
Well, I think this application is complete, we don't think so.
And you're keeping the cornice and
Yeah,
you're
we're
keeping the high
Do
lasters that
above
are
the
above
cornice
it.
and the top part,
Yeah.
we'll just read. Do it so it looks.
They have
To the original.
Yeah.
Motion upon the application complete.
I make it,
Craig,
2 seconds.
Craig.
And what is after hours? You talk about the-
Oh, I didn't see the sign, it's changing.
Nice.
I like the science.
Is there a sign in this?
So,
We look at that.
these are the brass letters that are gonna be installed in
Fine.
the sucker. No lighting? Oh, yes, we want to have just a drop down, pendant, like a globe, we have an antique. globe
Over the door?
over the
It's
door.
Call out the entrance.
The door, it's hard to see in this picture, the door's not flush with the.
Yeah, that's.
With the side, it's.
So it's back.
4 feet.
Yeah.
3 feet.
Recess.
Could they bring us a picture of that lamp and then we could approve that?
We have it.
Show you.
The sign won't be lit, no.
Go look at the lamp.
There might be, we might, apply for additional signage down the line.
I understand, but the brass letters on the wall are
Yeah, they won't.
not a problem.
I vote yes, whatever we're voting.
Assuming there's no problem with it, when it comes in, we have motion by the application complete. You, Miranda, all in favor, aye. And motion to waive a public hearing and ask the city attorney to prepare a CBA, assuming there's no problem with the land. Sure. And Miranda, all in favor, aye. Okay, let's take a look at the land, we move on. It's so great you're fixing this out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I didn't expect that. It's so neat this is happening.
Yeah,
Can you change that block?
yes, no, we find that law to be really promising.
Oh, I think it's gonna be beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your patience.
Yeah, of course.
It is a block. It's just-
The whole area. There, it's like, you can rest there,
Yeah, that whole-
We'll change it,
One leave, one.
So we have to look like that.
Just walk, yeah, you'd be looking for the land for a long time. We've gone to, level seven. Who's next? Terrific.
Doug Buxton, this is Jacob Harden.
Hi, Doug. Hi, Jacob.
We're the architects for Andrew Smith, who bought this townhouse at 207 Allen.
Sorry, we got it on Warren Street.
Can we we like it?
Yes.
Thank you. So, the city attorney prepares the actual certificate of appropriateness, not the application, but a real stamp sign thing. We vote on that at the next meeting in 2 weeks. Craig will have that for you in your package.
Right.
Awesome.
Thank you guys so
Thank you
much.
very much. Sorry. Go ahead, guys.
We were here in October, for a demolition plan. That's the house. And that's what we applied to demolish. We have not demolished it yet. We're waiting for our contractor to mobilize and we're feeding him more information. We said we would come back to you folks with what we'd like to do with the building. I guess we could show,
Yeah.
let's see. We're constructing a set of drawings in packages, so let's look at AX3 for a minute.
Which document? I have 7 documents.
Okay, that's
The full drawing,
full drawing set?
yep.
Yeah, let's do that. We can just page through, I think. Yes, that's the site plan. Yes, if I just walk you through the drawings, we can talk about what to do. Let's go to the next drawing.
Okay.
So this is the existing conditions. Once we remove the rear deck, this is what's left of the facade. So we're gonna come back and show you what we'd like to do. And the front facade, we're pretty much unchanged. This is the interior package. The house originally had an areaway on the street with a railing. So we would like to restore that. The windows actually are still down there. And then we'd like to, we have a deck design that we'd like to show you for the rear and a window strategy. So it's the door, the areaway, the deck, and the window strategy that we're going to for this time. I guess we'll go to the next one. I'm gonna skip this one and keep going. The facade, we'd like to clean it up here, remove that doorway, which had a fan light which was put in must have been the 50s or something. The original door was back about 30 inches. That is still there, so we'd like to restore it and expose it back to the exterior door. This railing is missing right here, and we're gonna need it because there's an areaway going down. Parts of it still exist, and the neighbors have parts of it, so we've identified some fragments that we can purchase to put this under. This would be the window strategy on the back. The deck's not shown here because it's hard to go bigger than the deck. But we would, about 2/3 of the windows we can restore. They're nice full wood windows with the weights. They're single glazed, so our contractor would take them out, double glaze and bring them back. The muntins and the sack are thick enough to hold the double pane. So almost all the ones on the front will be restored. The rear ones, we have a few left, but the French doors need to be new. And some of the windows need to be new, so we're looking at the page, which, so we would purchase them to match the 202 double glaze. This drawing also shows the, what we'd like to do for the deck. The owner would like to bring the deck out at the lowest level because it's a significant grade change in impervious on here. And the rear yard comes here and drops down, and it's really nice view, so the mountains come up here. So this is a multi-year deck, which will be, we'd like to do in steel and wood decking. And it steps back and has a staircase going up to the second level. And a little tiny balcony up here. There is a door already in the wall here. So we could put a door back in the opening. It was an interior door going into that old wooden structure we wrong. There was a brick opening here, we can see it, so we'd just like to open that back over again, put a window back. I have a 3D rendering of this, but I'll show you a few more things.
On the upper level, those windows, some of those were bricked in. Is that what you're
This
saying?
was bricked in.
Got it.
This one was bricked in. This one is there. This one was cut to get into the rear addition, which would be removed. These are windows we'd like to drop into a French door. Same thing. So these are all pretty much there. Either restoring them or putting in.
And the third level is a balcony, not an extension of the deck, right? There's no staircase going up to it or anything on the outside.
That's correct. Right, so the door is already there, it's kind of a place to step out. So this, it's kind of interesting. Let's go back for a minute, sorry. The two, if you want to fold this elevation, this wall is here and this wall is here. What's there now is an addition here. So this wall, there's actually a neighbor's wall. They have a similar addition. So when we remove the addition, their rear structure is going to be exposed. Studs and all. So we need to fix that. So we need to install insulation and sheathing on it, on her wall, and then we would build our own wall.
What is her address?
That's zero. Who's the owner? Who's the owner? The neighbor?
So we need a separate CMA for that. So that it would want the property, right?
No.
No?
Because the wall. And if it's the one I'm thinking, it was 205 now, Jane Trumley's house.
You're the one who does the block.
No, that's Carol. So the wall is a partition wall. So it's on the property line. So one part of the partition wall is 205, the other part is 20.
Okay, so it's a party wall.
Yeah. So whoever altered that has to comply to.
Okay.
For that.
I got it. So you guys are taking responsibility for that wall.
Yeah.
Basically.
Right, and the owner's already talked to his neighbor about it, and she knows the situation.
Should we at least get a letter of consent to the file?
Should be okay.
Yes, thank you.
My client's an attorney, so I think he's ready for that. So this would just be the screen wall that covers, her wall that we're fixing, and then it sort of steps down. On this side, this is the staircase right on the lot line, and we would put a screen wall there. And you can see it, we need to get down to wall in there.
And talk a little bit about materials on any new construction.
Yeah, let's, is Austin, there was a tag for A. Wondering if Austin could share screen. I have pictures on my iPad.
I can stop sharing.
Is that Austin? No, that's not Austin. It's one of my staff members. I guess he has to log out. I can pass around my iPad with the
Did you
rendering.
not send the rendering?
No.
Did you give it to the meeting?
Sorry about that.
So we'll need that for the file.
So we would do. I have two renderings here. You can pass it around or I can walk around.
They're next to now. I can go over, although I'm sure they're very.
So it would be, we would restore the brick. Partly painted. We would build the structure in steel and put wood decking and wood slabs. Wood decking. So these would be wood slabs as well. Letting some light.
Got it.
Can you send this rendering to The board, so we have it, it's gotta be documented, so we're gonna use it.
So your neighbor has decks at the same
That's
level.
correct, yeah, this is the structure to there where it's okay,
Okay.
and where it's flat, and she actually has trellis panels there too. So we just have,
Well, that's helpful. It's the other side.
I have it on
Email that directly to us, even as we speak, so we can, make sure it's in the packet.
Yeah, just
Okay,
I didn't show you the staircase side.
who'd you send it to?
I sent it to HBC and the staircase size is right?
Pardon?
I'll
Jan.
forward it.
What's there now?
That's Jan, if she gets it, she'll ship it out to everybody.
Staircase over here.
Okay, bring it back over there. Sorry.
So right now there's a staircase here along this wall.
Got it.
Let's see what I can cool it.
We got it.
Not changing the footprint.
No, there is structure there. Okay. It's basically reaching. That's what I thought. This is what's being modeled. Okay. That's the staircase side. It's the other way.
It is gonna be good.
You know, they're gonna-
I guess you can get back to the drawing.
Yeah, let me just share this.
Oh, you got it.
What you were showing them.
Finger sizes.
Sorry, wrong. Rich. Yeah, there's a few. They're like the, office in the meeting.
Yeah, that was a nice shot.
You don't have the structural drawings yet. I wanted to get some briefing concept and then release the structural engineer. The design of the colors. Would you need the actual structural drawing submitted to this board or just building inspector?
Only if the structurals are alterations in the exterior. So them structural drawings affect anything that's required by 169 of our code, and yes, they have to review them as well.
So we would need, some of these need to be bracketed off the wall, and then we're gonna need some posts holding up the staircase, so all the on this property.
So that's.
I reckon that we're not quite complete. Certainly we can comment on the concept, but I think everybody's gonna like that. We actually need the actual specs.
Actual structural drawings.
We do for the exterior. We don't need anything on the interior, but Greg does.
Okay.
But we're just exterior.
Yeah, we have a structural engineer, I just didn't release him.
And materialist, but certainly.
Okay.
Is the fence existing?
No, there is a fence there, I guess. You mean all the way down the lot line? There is a fence there, yes.
That's beautiful.
So folks, what we just said, we're responding now from a concept point of view, because there's additional information coming. And additional specs that we gotta have. Okay. It is beautiful and it's gonna be beautiful, thank you.
And we would use, this new product that I learned about called Pepperine, which is a resin infused pine actually, which is much more genetically stable than even mahogany decade.
How do you spell it?
ABBONY.
Yeah, it's Could you shoot us to Gina a packet on that material? Because it's in us, yeah, but keep on going.
So I set the drawings up so that Jack had its own drawings. So we'll just, so resubmit that section of the drawing. Except we were looking at a little bit more out right there.
Good.
Yeah, I'm sorry, is that two on them?
It was the whole stack.
Two of them.
It's called the full set.
Full stack, sorry.
He
And so,
did.
that's the deck and the renderings. Back on the front, this would be the recess that we would restore it in. And we draw the door with this back in there so you can see it. And then the street level is here, so this would be below street level, with a bridge across to the door, which was the way it was originally. And the two other neighboring townhouses that were sort of the same bridge. These windows are actually still there, so you just ignore them. The door is quite rotted, and we would replace it. And then we need a staircase to get down here. So I think if you
Show a model for the staircase, like a neighbor model.
there is no real neighbor model, it probably would be,
There is an existing staircase there still, but it's not a good quality, it's just wood.
we would put in a steel staircase because it goes in front of one of the windows, so we want it to be. Let like to be like an open riser slab and steel staircase. So I guess we can go to the next drawing. So here's the window schedule, which it specifies which windows are being restored and which ones are new. And we can go to the next one, we have a door schedule. Which ones are being restored, which ones, we have some of the interior doors on here as well, so it's not interior. Electrical plan, you can see that. These are all just showing how the aerial works and how we get across and the footprint of the deck. And then we'll talk about that. So the early drawing I skipped was the actual deck drawing that we're gonna develop. This one right here. So this is the lowest level. The French doors would be here, we come out a few steps and go down to that lower terrace where you saw the dining table. And then this would be the staircase with storage under, going back up to this level, which is the main dining level. And then above that, this is that balcony that's sort of wrapped around and breaking the staircase down. And then the little one at the top. So multi-level. Held up with brackets and posts.
Going back to the front of the building, that entry platform that you're building similar to the neighbors, the two on the street, what is the material of that?
The other neighbors just have wood. They have painted wood, tiny groove boards. So it's two risers up. Originally, it was probably a giant slab of stone, and there's several, and we went around Hudson, there's several in Hudson that just have a, 6-inch thick, 4x5 piece of stone. But I think that's just, it's a little too hard to execute in this day. Very well.
Currently, there is a wood platform there, but it's got plywood as the surface material.
Out here?
Yeah, if you go to the photograph, I should probably see a photograph, which is a different, number filing that over.
The temporary photos.
This is gonna be beautiful.
Absolutely. It is.
Where'd you find the door? It was just like in the basement hanging out?
No, it's back there. If you take that blue door, it's still back
Really?
there. It was an airlock,
Got it.
so you can see it's still back there.
Okay.
Go around. fence. So here's the two steps up and the fragments of railings that are left. There's another fragment over here. And this is just a piece of plywood with asphalt, rolled asphalt roofing on it and two skylights.
Everybody seems to have a version of that along that time.
So the neighbors have treated it differently, so I think we'd just like to put it back and get some daylight into the front or the lower level.
So will the doorway be recessed then? There'll be a little vestibule in front?
Yes, the brick actually is chamfered. As the brick comes around, it's chamfered and then it's flat where they inserted it and then it chamfers back again. And there's these two jam panels that actually have the same circular moldings on them that match the door.
Yeah.
So it's all back there, we just need to fix it.
That's cool.
And it's a blue stone floor.
There is a full slab, yeah, once you get to the threshold, the whole vestibule is a blue stone slab. They're inside in the brick. I guess there's a few other things to note, but we're trying to move the mat to the corner. So that would be an improvement. All of this will be scraped and painted, and the color scheme. What's the color scheme? I didn't see it.
That's only.
You're painting the.
Hold on. Oh, you just.
No, you're talking about the wood being straight.
The wood being straight. Like, uh-oh. The reformables and the solids are all good. Things coming out. First we'll take those aluminum storms off when we double ways of it goes. But the owner would like to keep the shutters. mean, it's a debate whether they're here or not, but they're there.
Can we see the original, just to compare
The original,
of the, we're at the current, I'm sorry, the current state? This is the current state, okay.
Do you want to see historical?
Yeah, what about the front door? Like, you mentioned something about the door.
oh, we have to draw it. We draw, you can see it back there, you see that little circular transom, channel? And then, there's side lights in the transom. We draw it, so it's on the drawings.
And then, but there's an outer door as well.
No, we're not, there won't be.
They're taking off.
What
the
you
outer
see
door.
would be other.
The ball,
that blue door goes away.
the blue door goes away, the side lights go away, and the fan light goes away.
That's
But
all.
what was the original there?
The door that's behind us.
There was no outer door there.
Right, right.
Not being shown.
The drawings.
Is there a historic picture?
We don't have a historic, we have lots of historic aerials and maps.
Is it the full drawing set?
Full drawings. I think it's H2A. That's the thing. Owner would like to paint the trim sort of a gray and incorporate some blue on the door and maybe the shutters. But the next, it's A2A that has the restored door. That's what the door looks like right now. It's still there.
I see.
Behind that. That way it's gonna be a setback.
Who knew?
That's
That's,
And this is the.
We still have
that. Yeah.
Great, the curb lines here.
well, just point that out, that's pretty special,
Where
the door.
This door right here, yeah, these bolt, there's side lights that go up and over with this circular window. The house number is in gold leaf up in that circle. This door has these enormous panel that stick way out and they make circles. And there's a jam panel here and here that you can't see just inside which matches this.
Thank you.
It has the same circular holes.
Do you have the same, like, because the hardware, the hinges are existing and then the knob and everything, is that able to be?
It's all, we're just taking it down and it's back up. The knob.
So what these folks are asking for right now is conceptual support, whatever you want to call it. I don't think we need to vote or certificate upon it. If you'll feel that this is a good gig going forward, they need to come back to us with more spec. And some historic photos would be great.
We've already looked, yeah.
Okay.
But we have all the specs for everything except for the deck.
What about historic photos of your neighbors? Like that would work too.
Did you try Carol?
Connor's been all over, he's been to the library, he's been
I'll
to
try to-
historic review.
Okay, they may not be, but
I guess I think it would be helpful to understand. Like you say that, like, and maybe this is upon us to go and look, like that door to the right, you go back to the current state. There you go, there, like that door to the right, that's an outer door and an inner door also, that looks original. So. Am I, that's
That
what I'm.
doesn't look really original to me, the rails and stiles are way too big. and-
There's a lot of doors that are like that in Hudson that are not original, they put them in later for other.
Well, I mean, that would be verifiable, but I think that might be something for you to, maybe when you return, that'd be something for you to have researched a little more. That would be my thought.
Well, I think it also would be sort of a shame to cover up that beautiful door that we want to expose.
no, we're not gonna do that.
It's there.
There's that.
I think if you go around Hudson, there are several of these exterior vestibules.
Okay.
And it has the number on
Yes.
it, which addresses exterior. It'd be great to have a picture of the door and a picture of the railings that you're taking from, that you're using as inspiration, it would help put it together.
Well, the railing, we actually have pictures of the antiques over there.
Okay.
We'll get details on the railing, we'll try to see if we can get precedent, at least for historical photograph or precedent for recent door. And then we'll have the structural drawings figured there.
That would be great. Come on back and see.
Okay,
That's a great concept. You're doing really nice work. Thank you.
all right, thank you.
Well, what's your building number that you're using?
548 State Street.
I think,
Bill, you have a raised hand online, or you want to take a question now or later?
it doesn't matter. Whoever's up. Ron, if you could be brief.
That's what I'm question.
I haven't unmuted. Go
Hold
ahead.
on.
Yes, this is Matt McGee. That building that is being talked about with the doorway and all is part of an ensemble of 3 buildings. And I think it should be appraised as a group so that the harmony and relationship of the buildings are retained. And they really make quite a beautiful ensemble. They've been treated differently in some ways, but the center building is quite beautiful. And I think it should be all considered together in doing work to the one building. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So it's 203, 205, 207 is a trio. I'm sure you guys have.
Right. Yeah, all 3 of them have a tree.
Good. 548 State.
But it would be helpful when you come back to give us a photo that includes all 3 buildings, so we can look at what they're doing.
Thank you.
Be on continuation. 548 State Street.
So maybe if we can start, you have the documents?
Yes. Which document would you like me to?
If you could go, I think there's a Word document.
They're all PDFs.
There'll be, probably existing photos, maybe, just to see.
C of A sign, I have a fence. This. Lot.
You could give your.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
I do have information.
Bruce, I didn't mean for you to be here so long.
That? I don't know, but I've learned a lot.
Oh, that's what's good.
Continuation,
I see.
last meeting, right?
Yes, it was a continuation. You should have gone up front.
I don't, can we do it? I mean, we've got.
Oh, no, that's not, that's not.
Well, we're almost there.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry. Is that
Oh, that's
just?
fine.
Yeah, it's done and done.
I thought we were. Do 548. There was something.
Now you also see that the board is not treating you any different.
That was said.
That's it. Then they treat any other applicant.
It was said, and then there was a question regarding the footprint of the addition, and then I sent it again yesterday.
Okay.
Let me see if I
And
can-
I even double checked and sworn to make sure everybody got it.
I know that you have my stuff.
What's the, here, I'm gonna, Tuesday, Jan.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
548 State.
State,
That was
not
recent
Warren.
one.
I have
It was
548. I don't have 548.
Oh, well, I have 548, did the application match the name on the agenda?
The application name, I think, was the owner's name.
548 State, Amanda and Matthew Grubler. So it's 548 State, not Warren.
I don't have it.
I just forwarded it to you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Good to take a quick break.
Actually, I don't want to do it.
We take a couple minute recess. I really gotta pause this. Good stuff.
Right, you know.
And
That you're here.
we missed your neighbor. Bruce.
I think they're still.
No, he's coming back.
Yeah, let's see, that's.
We're bad. No, we're good.
I did the same thing too. I said, I think the guys at the other side.
The idea of a brick apparently was very popular.
Granddaddy, what are you? Good, good.
That is.
Or will Victoria just send it? Maybe they'll pass it around, but I think just sort of how we can do. Sure. What we're looking at here. Is there any, or you want me to start?
I guess from that, just from this one, there is historical before they previously went to information. 2019.
Oh, you're right, yeah, I did, you're welcome to invite him, but he's all the way down in the city now.
And it's good for him.
Yeah, his partner didn't want to move on. Well, I don't know, I've been talking with my cousin, his partner works for Kinsey. Traveling near the airport, and he's like, no.
Maybe they want to come back work.
Yeah. What is Todd Hirsch? I don't think Todd Hirsch, you know, but. Well, that's the other part. They're making the other. What do you want to do?
They have.
It's too nice outside.
They saw the moment to run.
I think we did pretty well. It's just noon. We've done longer than this.
For your, well, really, on this side.
What was needed, so much of the work was terrific.
Okay. So, your proposal, let's figure out how to manage it. So I'm going to have my clients, Matt and Amanda Gruber, this is 548 State Street. Right now, they're asking for permission to build a screen-in porch on the right side of their house. Currently, they have a uncovered deck. And the plans call for using the existing deck structure, walking it out about 9.5 feet, and then putting a steel roof over the top of the screen porch.
Can you guys hear all this?
A little bit, you gotta be more louder, because the mic just picks up bits otherwise, but. Is the footprint changing on what we're looking at, or is it being enclosed?
The footprint will be changing, it's gonna be bumped out by about 9 feet to the right. And then there'll be another additional porch right on the back. But you have structural plans as well.
Terrific.
Do you want anything else, from this?
There's just a couple different shots of what the existing deck will look like. The stairs that are in place right now in the front and back will remain as it is. We're gonna continue to use the same materials that are on the existing house, so, all of the posts and framing will be encapsulated with, party boards that you can see there. The deck will continue to be, in UK product, Brazilian product, we're using, cedar dowel for the handrail.
We're using the steps, the 2 steps on both sides.
Yeah, if you want to see the structural plans.
Is it, you think that that's, you're really gonna be able to read those, and just what you're committing to here, that's when you're going to work it out?
Yeah, that's why I'm just so we're not changing any of the staircase in the way. We're basically gonna take the decking up and then extend the footers out. So the stairs will remain.
But you'll definitely be able to read them. I was just
Oh,
wondering if you
yeah.
could find out that.
Oh, no, I'm gonna tear them off and try to put them back.
So it's just going out this way.
Correct, yeah.
The drawing?
Yeah, if you go to the structural.
Also these.
Better.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry, what's your address that we're looking at?
548 State Street.
They're putting, instead of wood, yeah, they're putting wood. PVC.
So the architect had put PVC on everything, it's not accurate to what the material we're gonna be using. We're gonna continue to use the hardy board that is currently on the house, as well as match the UK decking.
You're gonna have to get those up there.
Okay,
Yeah, because
And that'll be the condition.
yeah.
So they have hardy board trim?
Correct.
And hardy board,
Yeah, on the house right now, we have the hardy board, we're gonna continue to use that just to match it. So it's gonna be just a little water.
Is this where you're talking about them?
Oh, yeah, okay. So right here, you can see the footprint of the existing structure, and the existing deck. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna add some footers and then extend the deck out this way. This line right here notates where the screened in porch area will be, and then this area will be screened.
you see there's 2 skylights in
they sit up really high.
it? Yeah, are they raised like that? Or-
Such a shallow roof line that, we can't put skylights in unless we pitch in the roof, otherwise we have water issues.
This is. Are we the only ones with these drawings?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, the skylight should be looked at, they're gonna be pretty pronounced.
That, it was in the PDF permanent set that we got.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
You go, you still got a little elevation.
Now they got rid of yeah, but they got a new job. And tree
Then you scroll down and you see the like, side elevation. So this would be the rear with the deck section right here. No, that's kind of what you're talking about.
We have a really shallow roof.
In order to get the length on it,
Because of the window.
And then that offhand, but it's probably with that pitch, maybe 18 inches. That's it, well, maybe a foot. But, yeah.
And this works for setbacks, Craig, like the width of it and everything.
Yeah, they have plenty of room.
I think it's 12 and a half. So 15% slope. Pretty slow.
Yeah, half by Joe, it's very shallow, it's almost flat. Unfortunately, I'd like to pitch it more, but we can't because there's existing windows on this side. They're like the corner and
And so all the stuff you're taking from, for details, it's from what was there for the deck, the new deck that exists, right? Like, you're not taking anything really from the house, it's from the deck that was there.
correct, yeah. Yeah,
This is State Street, this is facing State.
yes, it's facing State Street, correct, yeah. And all these doors, front and back will both be. Okay.
So the open part of the deck is not facing State Street,
Correct, it'll
right?
be in the
It's
back.
behind. Where's your handle? And then the current photograph is all open now, so all the screening and roofs are.
Correct, yeah, yeah. Basically an extension of the existing footprint, taking up the existing deck and putting in some new letters, extending the deck out in the cast area. All right, here. Continuing with the same lattice underneath. Yeah, so yeah. There's plenty of space.
And this is State Street here.
Yep, this is State Street right here.
So I'm sorry, I'm confused. This, what we see right now will all be enclosed by screening. And have roof over the top.
Correct, a little bit wider, yeah.
And then where is the open part of the?
It'll be on the backside here, so, if you scroll a little bit. Yes, yep, well, there you go. Okay. Just a little bit. Yep. There you go. So right here, here's the existing footprint of the deck. The stairs coming down, right here, and we're gonna continue to keep it there, and then this section right here will be all new. This right here will be the covered portion with a small area back here, that's.
Can we see the photograph of the front of the building as it is now?
So here's the mistake. This was, they did a renovation to the house in 2019. When we moved in, there was an existing covered porch right here, but it was in disrepair, so they removed it. And we showed around, that's what it looks like today, not existing that everything. They want to have the sun porch out of the screen and porch right here. Continuing to use, gooseneck lamps on the exterior.
I see the street view one more time, first picture.
And this is
And the top part of the house is clapboard and it's the bottom section is done, or is it all?
I believe this is something. And they have both solar panels. Is that what that is? Yes, they do have solar panels. It's just a previous. It'll be a standard scene level. Elevation there. Yeah. So it's gonna be looking at the side of the house, which straight, the stage tree coming this way.
So this is the State Street stairs, and this is the back.
Guys, pretty clear?
Yeah.
I think I like it. It is what it is.
Just changing the materials to make them accurate.
Yeah. It's, we're not interfering, I don't think, with any distinctive historic structure and it's a nice looking piece.
Yeah.
Anywho, if, unless there are questions or concerns, may I have a motion to find the application complete? You, Miranda? Favor? Any opposed? May I have a motion to waive the public hearing and request the city attorney, Garcia,
With the condition that applicant change PVC siding.
Yep.
And the plans that reflect that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I'll have the architect.
Okay, is that clear? Everybody got that?
Yeah.
So we're going PVC to Hardy? Done. Motion, Miranda, you, all in favor? With that contingency, you'll have a CAB. Thank you very much.
Craig, just real quick for the application for the actual building permits, you said you need 2 stamps.
The building permit itself?
Yeah,
I only need one of them, but I need 2 sets of the drawings.
but original stamps, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Thanks very much.
So what, the railing PVC, is that thing?
But no, the railing will continue to be as it is now, or it's cedar, yeah.
So. Anyone screwed up?
Next up, we have,
We have Bruce.
326 Union. The continuation.
Yeah, we have that.
Yeah.
The one that says 2020 to the rain.
Hold on.
We have 2 more.
With you more. These folks had asked for a concept discussion. That's all right, we'll make it work somehow. Okay, Bruce, you're good?
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you. Thank you for your patience.
You're welcome. Actually learned a lot.
So it's interesting. Yeah.
Not everyone, but most of them.
Oh, I'm installed though.
All right, so, thank you for the feedback. We have taken it to heart and prepared, I believe, everything that you, need to be and is somewhere buried within this. And so, I think what's best to do, I won't go back to the history. If there's any questions about the history, we can maybe ask.
No, I think we asked her for another application because the previous had expired and so on and so forth, so fine. But it's essentially where you were, is my understanding. I think the question that was resolved before, but we're going to want to discuss is the relative height of the structure, because that's the drama. Otherwise, I believe this is pretty straight up.
Okay, so Dan, go to the next slide. Again, on the left is what the current footprint is. If you work your way from the bottom to the top, you've got the original structure, addition that was called early 1800s, the additions that have been added, that 2-story addition that was added somewhere in the you know, we don't know, but it didn't last 100 years. Then there is unusable buildings. It's a structure that's attached to the garage. It goes on a dirt floor and bare stud walls, and then you have an old brick garage. And that's gonna be, the idea here is, and again, that midsection with the addition has a faulty foundation or no foundation, and it's bearing upon the historic house. And the decision that we have, the recommendation of our architect, which is our architect who we've been using, and our builder, who's Peggy, is to take down the addition and then rebuild, which is what I'll show you. So the orange section there is, the addition. So we'll take down the old one and add a new one, which I'll describe. We'll add a courtyard, which is actually harkens back to the original structure where there was.
I'm sorry, there's no slab or nothing under that structure is,
There is a slab.
okay, but it's not doing it, yeah.
But there's a slab, there is no, I guess, no footing or foundation under this slab.
Got it. I see.
And there's actually one photo that can kind of peek underneath it. So that gets removed and then we put the garage in the back. So if you go to the next photo, this is again what we're looking at today. And from Cherry Alley, you see the garage. You can see there's actually a non-functioning skylight. I'm sorry, solar panel above that. If you go to the far right, that's the view from City Hall Place. So you can kind of get a peekaboo view of between, on the right side is Peggy Anderson's home. On the left side is Michael Glickman's Nest rental property. And if you look through the driveway, you can get a peekaboo view of not the historic house, but the addition. Okay, and actually now when the pear trees are growing, you can't even see that, but that's what is seen from the street. And then if you go down to the bottom, when you go down to the bottom, that is what is seen from our neighbor, CJ and Misty's, at the number next door as they look east.
324.
324, that sounds right. So so that's their view is the only view of the actual structure that we're going to describe, and I have talked to them about these things. So if you go to the next page, we'll start. This is just various photos of the areas that are in disrepair. Also, I'll add that there's a potpourri of wiring and splits and just stuff that's been glued and duct taped to the sides of the place. We're gonna not preserve that. So then this is where you start to get a glimpse, a first look at what we're proposing. So this is on the left side are what we found in the historic maps along with a photo, which describes our building, the historic one, before the additions, green space, and a two-story barn. And so what we are proposing is adding addition, adding some green space, and then replacing the garage with not a two-story barn, because we have cars, we don't have horses, and instead put the garage there with a rec room above it. So that's exactly right there. So now the next photo is where we start to get a look at, well, that's the old and the new. Where this is where we paused last time and started to have some discussions.
Right.
So I guess to start with, the height of that, which is one question, is 20 feet 6 inches, which is actually a little bit below the CJ and Misty's, which is the red. It's a little bit below that. So that's the height.
I'm sorry, Bruce, what the building on the right that you referred to, this color is?
That is, that's a garage with a barn on top of it. You can see this, so this is the garage section.
Yeah, and that's the barn, I see.
This is attached in some funky way.
we will ensure,
And that's your neighbor.
that is our neighbor, right? Yeah, and so, excuse me. In that photo, not photo, in this, if you go up a little bit, this original lot, which we are here, you can see that this is Peggy's place, so on the corner, and this would be our barn. And so now if you go, then there's a gap there. So if you go back up to this here, this gets tucked in here, but this is not original, that piece, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, this is big in there, but this was a 2-story unit before. It just happens to be now flushed with Cherry Alley because this one is into.
Okay.
Okay, so do you have questions about this, or do you want to go through and then I can talk about materials?
I'm sorry, I had to step out, but how do you know this was a 2-story structure before?
Because this map from the fire and casualty, something or other, Sanborn maps, identifies this. And then if you go to the legend, it says it's a 2-story barn with a shingle roof. And then if you go to the photo, this photo, you can, if you look to the side of the guy's head, make it out. That is our, that's what we rely on.
Well, there's some degree of precedence on the block with the neighbor's barn there. That there are other 2-story structures. I understand.
So we go to the next one. So that's the view facing Cherry Alley. If you go to the next one, this is the view that would be facing from City Hall Place, looking west. That's current, followed by proposed. And what you'll start to see is we're taking a contemporary aesthetic to the addition and the garage, which we think plays off really well and actually highlights the original historic home versus the non-contemporary, non-historic conglomeration of what's going on today. So if you go to the next photo, or next rendering. This isn't visible from any public view, but it does give you the best sense of what's going on. And this is what is seen from our neighbor's lawn. And so I would walk you through. It's the original. This is what we're proposing to be added. So we're going to take this down and this garage down, rebuild this 2-story structure with our new 2-story structure, add the courtyard and put the garage. Obviously, this doesn't have a foliage and whatnot, but that is what we're proposing. And again, we'll go to the materials, but this is going to look different than this by design. So now you can they play off each other, and we think it's very nice.
And what do you know about the date of construction of the parts you're taking down?
We don't know much about it. What we know is we know it's been renovated a few times. In the last, certainly, well, one time was about 10 years ago. And before that, it was, we think in the 70s or 80s. I don't know. It's poorly constructed, but that's what you'll say. It's been tinkered with over a while. Yeah, actually, I should add right here, because I know this was correct. This is the only proposed change to the historic building is to put this window in here. And so what we are looking to do is this is a 4x3 or 3x4 window here. We're going to match that one with this. This is a chintzy vinyl sided
thing that's.
Dude, what is it? What's the chintzy vinyl kind of thing?
Oh, this is an old, it's already in there. We're not gonna match this one. We're gonna match the nice window that's up there.
So the part down below, you're leaving the,
We're gonna leave that, I'm not gonna touch that. For now.
well, it's gonna be mad at you after you call it names.
Wow. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So that would be one change that we're proposed would be to add a that window out there.
And the window specs are in the back.
Yes.
I think this could be great.
This looks at it from all views. Thank you, Phil. This looks at all views. Again, the top shows Union Street by and large doesn't look any different. Because of both the angles, the other buildings and the foliage, you have to squint. I mean, if you're looking at it and you look through and you walk into our yard, yeah, you might see it, but it really isn't gonna change the Union Street. The Cherry Alley does, it adds, there is that modern one, there are other modern buildings on Cherry Alley, there are other modern garages. So it's not breaking precedent, setting precedent.
No, it's not. The alleys are gonna be transformed. There's just too much pressure come on the pavement. And then the issue is to do it well.
Okay, so you want to talk about some of the materials? I know that was a question before, or.
Always.
Okay.
Well, I have a question, which is like when we take down a building, put up a new building, we generally have a public hearing. We haven't had a public hearing on this, have we?
Not in my recollection. The only thing I'll say, we may have, I don't remember, because he applied a year ago for a very similar, not the same project. Was there a public hearing?
Must have missed that one.
I think there was there, Craig, do you know?
That's my recollection.
I'm pretty sure there was.
I believe there was, because the specific concern was what you said, on new structure and the height of the project.
So this garage is was already approved?
No.
Slightly larger, it was a smaller. It was a little lower.
It was a bigger building. Anyway.
Had a roof deck.
Yeah, the other one had a roof deck and it had a little bit more elaborate railing and.
It's a simplified version.
Well, yeah, this one is simplified. This is actually looks more, the other ones.
But the board can still hold another hearing.
Of course, it's up to you all. As Victoria's pointed out, that is the default.
I didn't know that there was a public
Well,
hearing.
we should confirm that.
Okay. Well, let's find out.
If there's not,
I don't think whether there was one before or not is really.
well, if it's going, if the other was a modern building and a modern garage, then this is reduced in scope and scale, and it's just a modification to what was approved, I would say maybe you don't need another hearing. If there was not a hearing, then taking from what is to what is proposed seems to be rather drastic, and we should do that.
I think in view of what Phil just said, which I agree with, that the alleys are being transformed, that it's wise to have a public hearing to mark this transition. So we bring the public along with us and we don't have people saying, wait a minute, that's a lot of things.
But you've waited a year, you.
Well, no, I didn't want to get started.
I know, but it's too.
Okay, thanks, sorry.
Like, thanks.
It's up to you all. If you think it would be helpful.
What does the public hearing entail?
Just do it as a part of it.
It's to some extent, it's more of a legal process than anything else, but it plays a role in our process. What all that happens is that, you'd come to, for example, the next meeting exactly like today, we'd have the same opportunity to deliberate and so on. But at the front end of that meeting, let's say we call the order at 10, say between 10 and 10:30, there would be a window for the commission to not speak, for the case to be presented, and anybody on Zoom or anybody in the room would have an opportunity to make their comments. So the theory of the case is that we've acknowledged the public as part of our process in a formal way, There's a notice that goes out to the newspaper and so on. And then our process is identical, basically. We absorb that information. We have the same meeting, give or take, that we had today with the addition of the public input, and we vote on your project.
So I do, so now I understand, you did have one of those, and there was one question was brought up. And so I would ask that if this is, if this is essentially the concept has been approved before, and you can see your way to saying the public has weighed in already, then that would be wonderful. Is that-
Can you call out the differences between what the commission approved before? So this is, the garage is smaller and doesn't have a roof stack, right?
The garage, what happened before is the section here of the garage didn't, was not, so this other section is larger. So what happens, where's this? Is that there was a roof deck there that that went over Cherry Alley as well as looked over into the neighbors area.
Okay.
This is designed the prior application.
Got it. Thank you so much. That helps a lot.
Yeah.
And what about the addition in the back? Is that always planned as we do?
No, the addition in the back was not going to be, we were not going to touch. That was the thing that had to come down.
That's pretty interesting.
Good. But again, that's not visible. Right.
Again, the public hearing is required for things that are more than minor.
And it's not structurally sound, the part that you're taking down.
Yeah, that was the impetus of this whole change was because we had to do something about the
What do you say?
Did we had a public hearing?
We had a public
But
hearing.
not, there was no, this demolition of the house was not in the public hearing.
To me, the demolition of the newer part of the house has to happen. It's not, from what it's falling down and stressing the original. If I'm not,
That in of itself would not necessarily trigger a public hearing. It's the new construction.
The demo, we're gonna demo to here. Now we're demoing to here,
Yeah.
right, or the old, there was structure already there. So that's the difference.
Let's do this straight up. Commissioners, do you all want to waive a public hearing or do you want to waive a public hearing? What do you all think? Let's poll it.
what's the question?
Should we have a public hearing?
You want to have a public hearing?
You said
It
something.
says we should. I say no.
Is that a no?
Yeah.
Miranda?
I actually think that the new design is less.
Intrusive than the previous one. I do too. That's
What about the change to the house?
It doesn't bother me so much because it's really not visible from the street. And if there is a structural necessity.
What if that was an original part of the house? Would that change your opinion?
By those designs,
It
by those
depends on the
designs.
design.
It's
I
not.
mean, there are a lot of buildings in Hudson that have these back sections that were added on to the outdoor stairways.
Many have juts and stairs.
And pretty flimsy, and we've approved a number of them to be demolished.
What do you think, Diane?
Like, I'm very much on the fence. I mean, I could be something either way, so I do agree it's a simpler design than what was done prior, so I feel very comfortable about that. This back, since there's a precedent, sure, I don't think we need one, I feel like they can make it.
Fine. Are we approving it or is this a concept?
No, it's going for approval. I just wanted to get a people's views on the public hearing, so we can go ahead and vote straight up or down.
Okay.
Okay.
Did we cover the materials?
Pardon?
Did we cover the materials?
Here's all the materials.
Yeah, they're all.
Other questions? It is wood siding by Montana
We
Timber.
did cover the materials in, I believe, in prior applications to some extent. Is there anything changed in the materials?
The siding, this is a wood siding, it's horizontal, not vertical. I know there was a question about the vertical.
Yeah. That was quite, I think Chip had raised that.
I think the railing is probably less indicated. It's gonna be metal from a local vendor, or metal source.
I did have one question. You showed examples as precedents, the cord and steel. Do you have cord and steel in this? I didn't see it indicated anywhere. It's a precedent in the HPC package showing a neighbor's cord and steel facade. Is there? I just didn't see it on any of your drawings.
Oh, I think it was representative of a contemporary modern.
Got it, okay. I see.
Okay.
Thank you.
I actually think we're good. May I have a motion to find the application complete? You, John, all in favor? Motion to waive a public hearing as we just discussed and ask the city attorney to prepare a CBA. Miranda, Bill, I'll second that. In favor? Any opposed?
Thank you very much.
All right, congrats.
Thank you for bringing up the public hearing.
That was good.
It was important to discuss.
Jen, what do we got?
We have TJ Auto, 735 to 737 Columbia Street.
TJ, are you here?
Yes, we are here.
Oh, terrific, thank you.
You're welcome.
And I see Esther is still with us. I didn't know this was gonna go quite so long. Sorry, guys. It is what it is. Thank you for hanging in. So go ahead.
So we were at the meeting last month, and this was the first time that we spoke with you all. I'll share my screen just to refresh some of the stuff that we talked about, but we're looking at 735 Columbia, the site of the former TJ's Auto. We presented some of the building history last time and are really kind of zooming into this interesting typology that's this combination of more domestic architecture and a more commercial use, and trying to restore the building back to some of these original colors while adding in, some of the newer elements specific to Lil Deb's, who's the client and will be the new restaurant in the space, specific to their identity. So we looked at a few elevations last time, looking at bringing back the blue roof and the sort of white brick. We are not probably going to do a pristine light, but more of an off-white in keeping with some of the other buildings in the area. It's all painted brick right now and painted wood shingle, which we're also keeping those materials. We're kind of restoring some of these old awnings that used to be over the building and bringing that into our new design. And this is the color palette that we looked at last time, again, bringing back in that blue roof. And after we spoke last time, I think the most curiosity was on this new addition that's going to the right of the building. You can see it circled there in red. And I think just wanting to take a little bit of a closer look at that, look at particular shingle types, look at different options for fencing around it. And so we put together a new little render on our updated drawing set, which has the 2-dimensional elevations with dimensions and notes. We also added in a few images of these 3D renderings just so that we can understand the massing of this addition on the right, because it does have these slightly pitched shed roofs to mirror the existing ones on the other side in the rear. But it is set back from the street quite a bit. And I think that was some of the, I won't say confusion, but sort of question of how that would be perceived from the street. And so really wanting to show, because in the elevations, it looks almost equal or in plane. Let me go up. Oops.
No, it's set back.
Yeah, exactly. So there it is on the right. And
about the garage doors, just remind me again what's happening with those.
Those are being preserved. So we're working with all of the windows on the front, which are these really nice, very narrow frame wood windows that have been there since the 30s. we would like to preserve those for the character of the building, both inside and out, but we will have to meet current energy code because even though we're in a historic district, the building itself is not historic, so we're not exempt from any energy code requirements. So we're working with a window company called Allied. I don't know if anyone's familiar, but they do code compliant storm windows that have a metal frame, very narrow metal frame that you attach to the inside, and they're removable. So from the outside, the look will be preserved, and from the inside, it'll have insulating. It'll have new storm windows with insulating properties.
Are those overhead doors, are they operable?
They are, yeah.
So
Yeah.
what would happen is you would roll them up and then still have the interior window glass?
Not in the summer. It would only be they're removable, so it would only be in the winter.
I understand.
Yeah, and it's nice. It's really cool in there in the summer because it's all brick construction with a concrete floor. So we have some nice sort of self-regulating properties of the building, and we are adding all new insulation to meet energy requirements as well. And that will be done from the inside so as not to affect the visual appearance of the brick from the outside. So we're looking at, this addition on the right. One of the comments from last time was maybe to add a window on that facade because it was formerly just the shingle and looked a little bit stark. So we have this new W3, this new sort of porthole window, which that language is also taken from some of these more curved doors that were in the original pure oil stations. So we've added a window in there. I don't think we want to make it much larger because it's a storage space. So it's really just for a facade continuity and bringing some light in for people that are working in there. But I think that,
I appreciate that. The commission, a question was raised, and you could have pushed back and said it didn't make sense, but about the blank wall, I do recall that question was raised, and there was a way of creating a relief from that. Which you
I
did.
think it works. I think it works well with the rest of the facade. I appreciated the comment from the commission. I think it is nice to have a little something there. So, and those details are what will make the building special and unique and have character, and even on the newer construction parts. So happy to add that in. We looked at 2 fences. So we're going to do wood slat fences. The first one is screening the trash, which is here. So the dumpsters are located behind, but there's still enough room here for the trash to be picked up, but it's just visually screening from the street. Little Deb's right now has a community fridge that sits on Columbia on the sidewalk, and they would like to keep that program in this new space for the community. So that will just be on the side of the building here, but in front of the screen. So there's this wood slat that will separate between the fridge and the trash, which you can see in this kind of 3D image here. So it's just that little fence that's dividing the fridge area from the trash area. And before.
Fridge need to be enclosed or just open to the elements?
It's underneath an awning, and it doesn't need to be enclosed. It's more about the experience of people coming up to get food, and having them, and to protect the longevity of the fridge, not to have to replace it, constantly. So that fence was added, which is something that we looked at before, and all of the sort of doorways, the kind of areas that signify movement have this gradient of the 3 colors in the scheme, and so that would be applied to the fence as well. And so I think it was really just wanting to really, get a more sense of it in 3D, understand that it is set back from the street. And one thing I also wanted to share with you all is the shingle type, because there was mention of that at the last meeting as well. We are going to go with probably a red cedar. I mean, this will be a little bit of a cost determination, but a cedar shingle for exterior durability in this fish scale pattern, which we think makes sense with already the sort of like rounded language of the doors and the windows, and it's almost a bit more domestic. So we think that the sort of fish scale pattern works well with that language.
Those were the issues I recall from the prior meeting, and I believe he's addressed them. Yes. Okay. With that, may I have a motion on the application complete? You? And yeah. Very good. You got questions?
I'm good. I didn't see, I wasn't part of the original discussions.
Yeah.
But so from what I'm saying, it looks great. So second term.
Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion?
This is the concept, right?
No.
Oh, it is.
No, this is it. Motion to waive the public hearing as the city attorney for CBIC. Miranda, you, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, that's great. Craig, we voted in 2 weeks on the certificate. You can pick all your stuff up from Craig. 2 weeks from today, or give or take, or the Monday thereafter.
Okay, wonderful. And that's for the COA.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
317 Allen Street, concept discussion.
Yes, hello, I'll share my screen.
I can't really message them that way. You find them.
So my name is, sorry, I'm Esther Cho. I'm with Garen Glass Architects.
Hey, Esther, how are you?
I'm good. How is everyone?
Today for a very, very long meeting. I'm sorry. I hope it was not.
It's all right.
Okay.
No problem at all.
Yes,
So we are working on 317 Allen. The client, I believe, has come in front of you guys already to present a roof replacement. I can reference that when we submit our official presentation, but we're here to really get some feedback on some of the revised masonry openings that we're proposing, as well as a lime wash that we're also proposing for the exterior.
To be clear, this is a concept, John.
Yes.
We're not.
Yes.
Okay, keep on. Oh my God, I know that building.
So here's the historic photo we found in a book that's actually on site. And you can see it's largely the same today. We're proposing to do very little to the front facade windows, as well as the second main facade on Willard Place. You can see here. What we are proposing, the major changes to are the sunroom windows, which are visible from the street, but we don't believe are original. This was an exterior patio when originally built. We're proposing a new masonry opening off of what we're going to be turning into the master suite, but we'd like to reuse the brick returns that currently exist on the exterior facade and just demolish the masonry in between. We are also proposing 2 large windows in what will become a double height kitchen, actually 3 large windows if you include the rear facade. Then maybe I'll just skip to the elevations. So here's the existing north elevation. Sorry, can you repeat that?
Just the next door neighbor, sorry.
Yeah, don't worry. There's someone in the other side of this room talking.
New city.
Here are some images of the sort of finish we'd like to propose. The top 2, and I can zoom in. This is the existing brick in the front porch. Here's some existing brick at the rear facade. You can see, I think what we researched was at one point a wing was added to the back of the kitchen wing when the house was converted into I believe a nursing home, and that has since been demolished. So you can see some of the remnants of that addition. And then this third image is the sort of lime wash treatment we'd like to apply. And at the time we submitted this, we were planning on replacing the front door, but I think the scope is now just to replace the hardware.
Is it original? Doesn't look like it.
We believe it's original. It's hard to tell in the photo that we have. That entire front porch is in shadow, but we're happy to leave it. Okay, if we swing around to the, this is the east elevation. The house has a combination of 6/1, 9/1, and 12/1 windows. I think the majority of the existing windows are 12/1. We are planning to restore or repair all of the original windows, as well as replace the storm windows for those. And if I skip to the proposed elevation, you can see there is one new wood window we're proposing to replace a current service corridor door. There used to be a sort of not patio, but a little landing for steps coming from the side driveway. So we're gonna replace that with a window to match what's existing. And then here are the larger kitchen windows that we're proposing. Go to the existing rear elevation. You can see the sunroom with the, I guess, the more recent glass infill. You can see the master bedroom doors. And we believe these two small kitchen windows are original, but the brick molds on the exterior are not original. This window doesn't appear to be original, and the kitchen door is not either. And so what we're proposing on this elevation, another one of these larger windows, replacing the door with a wood panel with glass light patio door. Floor to ceiling sunroom doors, and these will be a steel look aluminum set of doors. We chose aluminum for its higher energy performance over some of the hot rolled steel options. And for the master bedroom, we're proposing a curved glass window with a wood planter set just outside of it. So we're removing the existing railing that's there and kind of also removing the option to have this be a terrace. I'll just go back to the plan quickly so you can see what that looks like. Would be that curved window with planter. You can also see we're proposing some skylights over the sunroom and another skylight over the new kitchen. These would both be installed in the existing roof. Right, this last elevation here, we're not proposing any changes to the original, well, aside from the repair and restoration, no changes to those original windows, except for the sunroom, floor to ceiling windows, and you can see just the side of the master bedroom change, and we're proposing a new fixed window high up in the double height kitchen. We are also proposing to replace all of the existing cellar windows with aluminum clad wood windows. Here's a side-by-side of a partial elevation. This is the kitchen wall. There's an existing door with transom. Door is not original, and a small double hung window. And to the right, we're proposing a series of wood style and rail double doors with glass lights and a larger fixed window above. And this last image is just to show some of the references we had in mind for the window type. For any of the smaller double hung new window we're proposing, we would be using Colby & Colby Heritage Series, which is all wood. It has the thin beveled muntins, just to replicate like the historical style of wood window. For the cellar, as I mentioned, we're using the same Colby and Colby line, but the aluminum clad just for durability. And for the sunroom, the master suite and some of the replacement storms, like there's some dining room doors here that have existing or non-original aluminum storm doors. We'd be proposing this steel look aluminum system, which we're using for just high building performance. So the window system we're looking at is the Slimline 38, which does fairly narrow sight lines. It comes with a beveled profile, and even the doors themselves have a very narrow sight line. So we want to get your initial thoughts and feedback on the proposed openings and thoughts on the lime wash.
In a really quick summary of what you're changing and not just repairing or restoring, it's skylights, 2 skylights, there's a bow window, there's a sunroom, and is that right? Am I?
No, it's just modifying the sunroom, but it's being significantly modified.
Okay. Is that, that's
And the
it?
lime wash of the brick.
Yes.
I mean, it seems very thoughtful. My initial reaction is I wouldn't do anything to this house without the public's input. I mean, it's, you know, makes me a little anxious at the thought of changing it at all. But of course, you know, it doesn't seem like you're proposing anything outrageous, but the public, this is, I don't know. If it's not the most thing that's happened,
I tend to agree with
very
you.
close.
I think that this is a pretty significant building. And I think we should do that, and walk the public through. But in terms of what they're proposing, I think that it's all very sensitive and beautiful, so.
I think in advance, I agree, sorry. In advance of that, the lime wash, I don't quite understand, so I know one's ever brought it before us and I don't know much about it. Is it just for the aesthetics of it? And
it would just be for the aesthetics.
You know, is there some kind of precedent for lime washing historic brick houses? I don't know, but I suspect that question will come out, like what?
You know,
Why is that gonna why do we have to lime wash this?
that is true, and I'd love to see a sample of what it might look like if that's possible. And we're on Allen Street.
Okay.
A lot of painted brick houses, so, you know, it wouldn't be sticking out. There's like 5 or 6 painted brick houses on Allen Street in that block, so.
But this building.
But this isn't one.
everybody's-
No, I know.
It's very distinct.
So perhaps, if we could see a sample of it just for consideration, that would be very helpful.
Just trying to think of what else the public, I guess we don't have an application, right? So we're not public hearing it yet. I'm just thinking about how this is gonna go down, right?
We don't have an
And I
application.
think when you have the application, I think. In our experience, the more renderings you can get of what. I would really focus on what you intend to change. And render that as clearly as possible, because anything you were gonna just repair is gonna, you know, and you don't wanna distract them with 20 things, but there's really only. You just said, there's only 5
Like
things
5
that
things.
seriously matter, and getting their input on those would be valuable.
Agreed.
And I don't know whether we can call for a public hearing on the first time that we view this application.
We don't have the application, or we could.
Well,
We
that's
don't
what
have
I'm saying. Do we have to have a meeting with just the application?
I'll ask Victoria, cause there's some logic to moving stuff along if we can possibly do it. There's a ridiculous, lag in the lead time to get into the Richardson Star, because they're so extraordinarily successful, that they hang you up for 5 days. So let me get an answer from Victoria. I guess my question for you all is, if Victoria says that you can go forward with a public hearing without an application. And I think we all feel that that would be useful information for the commission. I'd love to tee it up for the next meeting.
I agree. I think that this is, often we see things in concept that are not nearly this
Yeah.
thought out.
This could be an
So
application.
this is
easily, right.
Being that it's so far along, it's almost as if it were an application, it's just a
And
technical.
I totally understand. Were you following that, Esther? We're gonna
Yep,
try.
and you know, we can add additional materials too in the rendering images.
Absolutely, we're trying to move you forward. I think, this is, gonna be a great project. It's brilliant. I took someone else's paperwork, apologize. Anyway, look, we'll get back to you. I think the commission, quote unquote, likes the concept. There are gonna be more questions coming up. People are gonna challenge the wash on the building, among other things. So you need to do some prep around that. But are you game for 2 weeks for, see if we can move this forward?
Yes, would that be an in-person meeting?
It's up to you, really, it is.
You can do it on Zoom. I mean, the point is, at least for the public hearing section, Zoom is a hell of a lot more useful.
Yeah, actually.
Than and for us, we're open to whatever, but we can decide that. We just have to be sure that our Zooming is in good shape. Let me get back in touch. Just assume we're gonna try to get you back in 2 weeks and assume that we're gonna have a public hearing then.
I would say, like, I don't know if the original plan, their original drawings around this, original, like, people are gonna, our local constituency is focused on the history of our most prominent buildings, will be aware of that, so you wanna make sure you've done your homework on the history of whatever pictures we have. And it's clear rendering of what those original looked like versus what you're proposing, and the comparison of those, I think, is really valuable.
Yes. Agreed.
Okay. And will I need to have additional scope determined by then, like exterior lighting, or is that a separate, or can that be addressed with the official application?
You can break off a piece like that and say that I'll come back at another time on stuff that you won't have resolved. We'll just break it off.
Okay. All right.
The important stuff is what we discussed right now for a public meeting. The rest of it we could, work on. So focus on what we just discussed. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you so much.
And we're gonna try to move forward.
All right, have a good day.
Great, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Question, Carol?
Yes, I just wanted to point out that this house, 317 Allen Street, was designed by Marcus Reynolds, and it's probably one of the best documented houses in the city. All of the original plans are at the Albany Institute of History and Art. So the people who are planning changes to the house should be aware of that, and so should the HPC.
Thank you all.